Sorry
All
about
right.
that. Welcome back. Welcome back. We had a few technical difficulties. I'm sorry. I do apologize. We are using copyrighted material, but we thought we had permission at the moment, but we didn't. But anyway, for those that watched the video, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about racial profiling, racial stereotyping, and then bias, racial biases that, that we're dealing with. Um, I just thought that was a interesting way of showing this of people being seen, three different actors, a white actor, black male actor, white male actor, and a white female. My goodness, just think if they used a black female. I don't know if they used one or not. I don't remember seeing one with the black female, but
I don't think they
anyway,
did. I think it was just those three scenarios, and as you saw that the white people didn't have to deal with the they didn't have to deal with anybody walking up to them and saying they stealing the bikes, but the black person, almost everybody assumed that he was stealing.
you know, Mike, we've been talking about this for 2 weeks now, and we've talked about how we as a race has um, stereotyped amongst ourselves. And I got
Absolutely.
something else I want to send Carmelo that I know is not. I'm gonna send this other link to you, Carmelo, and this is not copyrighted, so it should work with no problem. I would like for this to be played and see what's people opinion in relation to the Northport officer that was handling the situation over in Northport during the handing out of um, Section 8 vouchers. You familiar with that? Happened on yesterday, Mike?
I know I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh man, we got to show this. We got to show this. It's taking about 5 minutes to get it summed up. I tell you what, let's take a commercial break then. Let's do a commercial break, and we'll come right back and go from there.
Okay, yeah, we give folks more time to log back in. As um, I think, yeah, we lost a few folks.
Yeah, yeah. Not sure if the game. I'm not sure if the game on tonight or not, but
Uh, so DJ Mello, go ahead and give us a couple commercials.
yeah, our producer he's catching it right this minute. He'll be with us in just a minute.
Yeah, I believe he is. Before we get into that commercial, real quick, I do want to remind. Well, I just want to let everybody know that Sound Booth Radio gonna give another young aspiring DJ his shot on July the 10th. DJ Cam is getting ready to go ham. So Saturday Night Heat with DJ Cam, we're gonna have that going on Saturday, July the 10th at 7 p.m. So we're gonna give him a chance. Now he's only 12 years old, but he's a go and Daryl, you know him.
Yes, yeah, great guy, great young man, very amenable, um, interested in the music industry, and I think he'll go far. Daniel Van Horn is back on with it. He said, guilt into proven innocence bias has caused black men to be incarcerated for crimes they never committed. It caused people to lose unemployment because somebody think you might steal. The worst part, nothing ever happens to the false accusers or miscarriage of justice by the system. We're gonna get back to that in just a sec. In just a second, Van Horn. Um, we're gonna go ahead and take that commercial break, and we'll be right back. You still can call 205-310-6067, 8267-661. That'll get you in contact with us here on the program. Trying to see, did it? I like this new format. I'm not sure if tell me
We
what
just gotta get the kinks worked out of it, but I'm sure that uh, we do a little bit more on Ttown 411 than we do on Battle of the Sexes. The other format that we use this, but this is actually the format we used with the mayor when we did with the mayor. So um, and we actually can get more like 10 people on at a time. So
yeah, I mean, I like the idea that it offers for it. I like this strolling and things like that.
Hello? Hey, Rick. I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother? I went down to Thomas Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie. And I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh, all I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Red Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Head on down to Archibald and Woodrow, some of the best barbecue in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, y'all. Right off of 4125 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35405. You can hit them up at 205-331-4858. Also, you can find them at their other location, 1211 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Northport, Alabama 35476. 205-345-6861.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama. Fly, fly, fly. Scoochie, huh? I drink till I'm drunk.
Fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Take a pic, I might as well. Hell, drop the top and take a selfie.
You shopping at a goddamn number 2 pizza.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I think our producer might be ready to watch this video, and I'm warning you that the video has some very, 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 very provocative language, cursing in it. I'll just put it that way. Has a lot of cursing in it, and I'm gonna see
I
this.
think you need a couple more minutes, Daryl, because
Need a couple more minutes. Okay, great, great.
the upload kind of slow. So
Okay, 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 okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
uh,
Once again, give us a
everybody,
call to.
they can call in right now because actually all our phone lines are open right now, so they can call in if they want to.
You know, when you looked at that video, Mike, the video relating to the bike, it makes you wonder. I mean, and I'm certain it happened because you would have young men that may have car trouble. You can have car trouble, and you know your car break down in the. Let's use this as a scenario. Uh, my friend just recently bought a house across the river, and his son and my son are friends, and my son go to the neighborhood to visit. And on the way out, before he get back across the river, he has a flat tire. Well, he's driving a Mercedes, but he got a ball cap on, a black, and it's turned backwards, and pants hanging off his butt. Then that draws a suspicion. That's stereotyping.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the name of the car, I mean, the officer run the registration and tag and everything. They come back to another name other than his last name. He's going to be stereotyped. And that's part of the training I think people have to have in their own mindset to make sure we don't have these scenarios to happen. Patricia said, I missed it, got knocked out. Belinda, we're gonna show this video and Patricia in just a second. It's coming, relating to the scenario over in Northport. They were giving out Section 8 vouchers, and an incident took place, and it was mostly our young African American young women that were in line, and a fight broke out between a couple of young ladies, and the officer had to get their attention. So we're getting it loaded up. Hopefully it'll be on in just a second. I think it's probably about 4 or 5 minutes long. Yeah, some people saying uh, they had a problem with the de-escalation method that the officer used, but then we had some people that applaud the de-escalation method that he used. Um, Me personally, I can understand his frustration. I can understand his frustration of trying to help people, and they fight in line. So that's what this going. We're gonna go to that. Daniel Van Horn say he did a great job. So it's been circulated about it probably went viral, Mike. I'm surprised you didn't hear about that one. It probably went viral. I'm not sure, or either it went viral or they took it down one of the two. But it's it was some
And
special
when did this go on? Today?
yesterday.
Hmm. And I can't say I really hadn't heard about it.
But you know,
And
why
I was know it for yesterday. So,
Well,
um,
well, Mike, while he's getting it loaded up, let's just talk about this, y'all. Let's talk about this. I mean, it's beginning to get to the point all 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 kinds of ways that we as African American are destroying integrity and character amongst ourselves and killing
yeah.
ourselves.
Hmm.
What is it?
I
What is
wholeheartedly, um, as far as it, I, we kind of spoke on it. I want to say it was Tuesday of last week.
it? Mm-hmm.
Probably was a week before last when we had a caller that said when you get to a certain level, you move out of your neighborhood and then you stop looking at those people in your neighborhood a different way. You start looking at those people a different way. Uh, what I'm saying? So like if you'd have moved over there across the water and you happen to get accepted into a neighborhood, you really truly don't want any other black people moving over into your neighborhood. Uh, because they feel like, oh, when you come over there, you finna bring the property value down. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people that they don't quite do right when they get in nice places. But everybody's not like that. Everybody try to move to a better neighborhood for them and their family, but you once you get in those other neighborhoods, you kind of forget where you came from. Especially if you grew up in McKenzie Court, Hay Court, Rosedale. Like if you grew up in Crescent East, but then you finally got you a job. Let's say you working at Mercedes or something like that, and you saved and got yourself a nice house over um, in that new subdivision down on 82. I can't think of the name of right offhand. It's not Buckhead, but it's over there by Buckhead. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I know.
But it's they some nice middle class houses over there, and you probably wouldn't want a lot of black people staying over there because the first thing that happens when a lot of black people move in, uh, white people start moving out, and the neighborhood start kind of going down, deteriorating, unfortunately, in most cases.
Well, I guess the question, and Daniel, you can call in and give us your opinion. He said also he made a comment. It's so sad that you have to talk to people that no. That Patricia said that, and he said yes, we are indeed, and he did a great job. He got order back, and that's it, and that's all that matters.
But Darryl, do you think that those people who thought that he didn't do a good job still have they just kind of feel a little sore toward any law enforcement period?
I think so. I mean, I seen some comments, punk ass and um, same person that got this or did that to me. Some people gonna feel some kind of way negative about law enforcement. Period.
Yeah. So no matter what, if he had, no matter what he would have did, he would have had some sort of backlash,
Right.
regardless.
We got a
I
call. Go ahead,
uh,
call.
Mello just said that we're almost ready for the video. I think about 2 minutes.
Okay,
So
we got a call on. Go ahead, call.
I watched the video, and I personally think he did a great job. It reminded me back in the days of working at a prison. You don't always have to lay hands to get ordered. But I think people are insensitive when people talk to them in a certain way. But that was what they understood. They formed the line, and everything went on. But for it to be so early in the morning and whatever they was giving out, passing out, you want to see somebody you don't like, you want to fight them. That's why we don't have many clubs. You can't go to some of the restaurants if it's too many of us or we overcrowded. Because we'll see somebody we don't like and we want to fight with them. And I don't get it. Folks still hold grudges but swear they have went so far in life. And I was listening to Mike just a minute ago when he was saying folks move away and move to different neighborhoods. You can change your neighborhood, but you can't change your skin. So there's no reason for you to look down on anybody. I don't think they still stay in McKenzie Court, Valley Hills.
I was saying that you should not, Daniel. What I said was exactly what happened.
I mean, voice your opinion, they're going to voice mine. Because the thing is this. Still at some point in life, no matter where you think you have succeeded to, you still got to come back down to level with people who you think are beneath you. But really, you're no better than them. And since you're lifting yourself up, isn't it wise to lift back and pull another man up? But that has been our problem. They're just like sometimes when we vote people into office. Once they get into office, they tell you everything to get there. But then they can't do nothing for you once they get there. But you still have people backing them when they know they're wrong. But where do we come at a compromise as black people to stop being biased towards each other, to stop stereotyping each other? I can remember in high school when if the young lady stayed at Alpine Hill and you stayed in McKenzie Court, her daddy didn't want her to talk to you. So we always have had this clash with thinking if we stay in a certain place and the other person stay in another place, they're beneath me. We can't fool with them. They'll pull you down. Can't nobody pull you down but you. It's the choices you make in life.
You make a valid point. You make it a valid point. Q Chandler say, I couldn't imagine standing in line that long to be yelled at due to the fact of a couple people fighting. I have several questions. Why do we as a race feel as though we have to get in line early just to be served? It definitely needs to be some education going on in our community. It doesn't justify people acting out. However, folks are mentally disturbed and need help. That's the major issue. Is unfortunate. Belinda Harger said, "We don't know how to act. Period. You move into these neighborhoods and put couches in the carport, loud music, cars everywhere. I don't blame you. Not being funny. I grew up on the west side. Not ever do I want to go back." Patricia said, maybe if they had a separate line because there were people there to get application for the flood victims. Just my opinion. Whatever the reasons were, and I hope the video come on up in a minute, in the next minute or so. You brought up an interesting point. We've been talking about the biases that we have amongst ourselves. It's unfortunate.
That's the one thing that nobody really wants to talk about so much, Daryl. Is the fact that
they
we
don't.
all have
They
them.
don't, because they feel you're taking a side. If you reveal the truth about whatever it might be, then they have an issue with you.
From that point on, you become the enemy.
You're not welcome. You're looked upon as an enemy, a person that is not worthy to be amongst certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But people and I don't want to go into this because that's somebody else's post, but we're tearing down other people's opinion, and I'm talking about adults now, y'all. I'm talking about adults. We grown folks, adults, grown folks, and y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's out there. I mean, this election, this District 7 election is whoa! It didn't turn into a circus. It didn't turn into a circus, y'all.
Yep.
And I keep saying this, and I said it from the very beginning when the first election in March started. I said there's a person and persons that are trying to divide family and friends, business associates, professionals in our community, and it didn't happen. I said that earlier. And it didn't work. And I'm going to use the word Satan has separated, divided, and conquered mentally. This is mentally.
Yes.
So I'm waiting on.
I think I'm not mistaken. I think it might be ready. Mello, if it's ready, go ahead and roll that video.
Yeah, we're gonna roll the video and then we'll talk about it after this. Hopefully y'all can hear everything too. We're gonna put you on hold for just a minute, Daniel.
Okay.
All right. Might be just a few technical difficulties. Just hold on.
I think it was supposed to be on.
Head on down to Archibald and Woodrow, some of the
Fly, fly, fly. Gucci, huh? I drink till I'm drunk.
fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Take a pic, I might as well. Hell, drop the top and take a selfie.
You shopping at a goddamn number 2 pimp.
I'm Sonia McKinstry, and it's been a true honor to be your District 7 City Council representative. For years, it has been my passion to see transformation and redevelopment for our district. Under my leadership, we're working through barriers and obstacles. And I'm proud to announce that this location will be the new home of a mega sportsplex. On March 2nd, go to the polls and re-elect me to Tuscaloosa City Council District 7. I'm Sonia McKinstry, and I approve this message.
Oh shoot. Which one you telling? Which one you telling? Uh, the file froze. He had to convert it from how you sent it. So he was just telling me then that it just kind of froze up in one spot. So he's still trying to convert it the video so that everybody can see it, but it right now it's still like stuck in one spot. Um, so
Okay.
um, I think it's just because we're trying to do it all on a live basis. Yeah, this is the first time we running this program, y'all. So um, it's a work in progress. The more we use it, the smoother it gets.
I was trying to see, could I use my other phone to shoot the video from my phone to there um,
Uh,
as an invited guest. So if I did it as an invited guest through my other phone,
you have an invited guest.
no, I'm saying if I use my other phone as another invited guest phone
Oh,
line, could I would it pick up? See, I'm not familiar with this program.
I think you can though. Um, if I let me ask him. Hey, if it's giving you the option to screen share, you can do it. You can show it.
Well, I have the option on my phone to do screen share, but I'm just saying, how would I input it to StreamYard?
Uh, you said how do you input it to screen yard? Did you hear that?
No, I can't hear.
Okay, he said when you go to say it again. No,
Begin the screen share. Only thing I do is gotta go to it.
you said just begin the screen share and just and go to it. Like click screen share and then go to the video.
Okay, I'm dealing with Apple, so it's a whole lot different than.
where she go. That don't make no sense of them, man. Put that black bonnet on her, girl. She got that. That shit just crazy, man. Right now. The problem is we don't let them reach. That's the problem. Oh, he better get up. Yeah. I'll let you get her out. Are you fucking serious? All right, now you got this thing. The paper clearly says, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, please understand that you do not have to be first in line to receive the application. The place of waiting list determines on when you turn it in. It ain't got nothing to do with no one else. You understand what I'm saying? You choose to be out in line, so if you hot, then you know you chose to be out here. Otherwise, you can leave and you can come back at 10 like everybody else and get your application and you walk up. So if you hot, baby, don't complain to me because I don't care. I got all this black on me. Don't get all this on me. Today. I'm just being honest. If I got to build this shit off when I go home, you hot, I'm hot, ain't no damn thing. So if you want to fight today, I guarantee you better take it elsewhere. And I would say this, if you got anything on you, only one out here better have a gun and better be me. So if you got anything else on you, I advise you to take it to your car and leave this premises right now. Because if I find it, I'm locking your ass up. If you got anything, whether it's a knife or whatever the case, man, I don't care if you got a damn screwdriver in your purse. Keita, I said this girl say yeah. I get that girl right here. Get out of here right now. Yeah, when she goes, she started fucking shit, man. Damn. Now, I want y'all to form that line. And that's the way I want y'all to be for the duration of this process. And everybody out here, I'll cut this shit off right now. Whoever's out here, I'll cut this shit off, and I guarantee your ass won't be shit here. And I mean it like that.
You doing that? Saying yeah, cutting up, ain't it?
All the reason, see, you can't talk to y'all with no goddamn sense. You got the damn cuss to get some shit across to y'all ass. And I'm sick of this shit.
Ooh,
folks giving y'all a damn service, and y'all want to have
I like somebody dead.
Y'all want to what I do with this damn uniform? You ask me. Because I'm on the side of what's right, and anything wrong, I don't tolerate it, and I'm sick of this shit. Hell, and I'm sad to say, we got to be the damn ones that act a goddamn fool.
There you go.
Now I'm sick of this shit. You want to goddamn fight? Do it somewhere else. You not and I mean what I goddamn said. Every last one of y'all.
What saying was that her winning? The girl started shit where she go. That don't make no sense of them, man. Put that black bonnet on her, girl. She got that. That shit just crazy, man. Right there.
You ain't got to be first in line to get an application. Hello. The problem is we don't damn read. That's the problem.
Damn.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, he finna get on. Yeah. Can they check your house? Are you fucking serious?
Alright, now this how this thing gonna go. The paper clearly says, and I'm gonna read it to you. It says, please understand that you do not have to be first in line to receive an application. The place of waiting list determines on when you turn it in. It ain't got nothing to do with no more house. You understand what I'm saying? So you choose to be out here in line. So if you hot, then you better talk to yourself. Not God. You chose to be out here. Otherwise, you can leave and you can come back at 10 like everybody else. And get your application and you walk off. So if you hot, baby, don't complain to me, because I don't care. I got all this black on me. All day long today. Today ain't today. I'm just being honest with you. If I got to peel this shit off when I go home, you hot, I'm hot too. Ain't no damn difference. So if you want to fight today, I guarantee you better take it elsewhere. And I'm going to say this. If you got anything on you, only one out here better have a gun, it better be me. So if you got anything else on you, I advise you to take it to your car and leave this premises right now. Because if I find it, I'm locking your ass up. Now, I'm not playing with y'all today. If you got anything, whether it's a knife or whatever the case, man, I don't care if you got a damn screwdriver in your purse.
Kevin, they said this girl St. Yale trying to fight that little skinny, this little black girl right here that's pregnant.
Right now.
Yeah, where she goes, she started fucking shit, man. Damn.
Now, I want y'all to form
It
one
don't
thing,
make
and that's the way I want y'all to be for the duration of this process. Otherwise,
Well, I'm right here with y'all.
And you will be doing it on my call, and I'm not playing.
Y'all let me squeeze in somewhere.
Well, they will be passing it. Everything else, you better shut your mouth. Y'all act like goddamn 1, 2, 3 here.
Oh, shit.
You're not going to bring this shit to Northwood. No, you're not.
There you go. Tell they ass.
You can take the shit with you.
Tell they ass. Wanna cut up early fucking morning. Let me squeeze in with y'all, because this is what we want.
Alright, okay. Everything else at this point is we just do what needs to be done, okay? Again, you don't have to be first in line to get done.
Come on, sister Monique. Come on, Monique, you need to get on here.
You might need to sit out there, but you might need to sit out there.
Right here. She right here.
Okay, y'all heard it, y'all saw it. Stereotyping. We talking racial stereotyping, unbiases. We talking racial profiling. What do you say about this video? What we at? Did the man do what he's supposed to do? Was it uncalled for? What's your opinion? Kyle Porter, you on the phone with us. Talk to us.
Well, I didn't get to see the video, but how everybody doing? I think it happens more often than not, and it's something that needs to be addressed within the police precinct, along with city leaders and people from the community. We're always, and the fact that it's gotten so far out of control, that's the main thing.
Okay.
From working in my time at Comcast, I've noticed how the police patrols are more heightened in the black communities and less heightened, a lot less heightened in the white community in this town.
Okay.
That don't make it right.
I got. Go ahead, Carl. Van Horn, what's your opinion of this situation?
My opinion, he did what he needed to do. If that situation had been any other kind of way, they would have been quiet and in line. We automatically ready to disrespect one another and each other. And that's the sad part about it. We feel like we don't have to listen to each other. That's sad.
So
that's true. That's true.
Hearing the officer de-escalating this situation the way he did, I read comments that people said that he didn't have to use the profanity in front of women and children. I heard some people say that's the only way.
He included himself. He said we. He didn't say y'all. He said we. He included himself, so he perceived himself as black. He didn't say y'all because they stayed over there. He said we.
Mm-hmm.
Use of words matter too.
Use of words do matter. It does. But at the same time, he said he brought out the information of go if you're gonna do what you're doing, take it somewhere else, like Tuscaloosa, or don't bring it over here in Northport, something of that matter. First of all,
and this is how I used to feel about it. If we at Christmas Eve, and you got people with Joe Jenkins, you and Joe Jenkins go down and do the sport. Don't mess it up for all of us.
So he de-escalated, in your opinion, he de-escalated that situation the best way that was it could have been handled. Anybody else, give me a call, 310-6067 or 826-7661. Let's hear your opinion, women. Now this scenario was a case. Now that's live. That was a live video of Northport Housing Authority were giving out vouchers. And from my understanding, one young lady was fighting another young lady before the event even took place. Veronica Taylor said, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going back. Let me back it up. Oh, okay. Veronica Taylor said, shaking my head, sad they don't understand why people get fed up. Valerie Adams said, that police officer did not handle that right. What gives him the right to just scream and yell at them? I'm going to let this caller merge in with us. Scream and yell at them. There are other ways to get their attention. The officer let his emotions get the best of him. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, this is Valerie Adams.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? I was just reading your comment. Might want to turn your phone down. I'm a few seconds behind.
Oh, yeah. That's my opinion. I think he did not.
What more do you think we could have? Well, how do you think he should have handled it?
Okay.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
His job is crowd control. Okay, he was there for crowd control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was there for crowd control. That's his job. Now, we as women, we go there early because we know the lines are going to be long. And so we want to be first in line. And so that's why we're there.
So I didn't see anything other than hearing what the young lady said.
So that's why we're there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but for him to yell and scream and curse and
it's still a little loud. That's probably why you're delaying the question. Just pause me for a second. Just pause it for a second. Okay. Now, go ahead.
You go ahead, Carla.
Oh, I agree with the person who said the police officer, he or she was very rude, unprofessional. They escalated the situation just because the women were loud. He didn't have to go there. Somebody has to have common sense. I think he should have been more professional. He talked to people with respect, and I think he would get more. And I disagree with the video. It shows too much negativity in the black community.
Hold on one second.
I see enough of that on the on their Facebook. Every time I'm screaming, it's a ML that, it's a T, it's a SHIT. It's just too much unprofessionalism. And women shouldn't be acting like they are. The whole thing was uncalled for. And I don't think all that should be shown to everybody.
Okay. We got Ms. Adams back on the phone, Mike. Go ahead, Ms. Adams.
Yes, as I was saying, like we as women, we go early and we get in line so that we can be first in line so we can go ahead and get out and get what we need. But okay, being with the housing authority is not going to start until they get their line. If that line is not what they want, they're not going to start. And so that police officer is there to back the housing authority up. And so he will get them in line that way. If he has a megaphone, if he has his his walkie-talkie, whatever he has that he calls out or whatever, he could have used that to get the people in line instead of just cursing them and so forth. Okay, so he's using the same thing that they're so used to that they hear all the time. So what's different? It was just going out the other ear. As you could see, the women that was talking in the background, they weren't paying attention to him. They were not paying attention. They were just letting him rant. Go ahead, go through his spiel, get it over with it, and just let him do what he's going to do. And that was going to be the end of it. So they knew. And then for him to say, no one out here better have a gun but me. This is Alabama, open carry. You can't tell these people they couldn't be legally carrying a gun.
That's a true statement. You make a valid point right there.
He can't just say that. What's wrong with him? So he was wrong in that aspect. Just because they're black doesn't mean that they're not legally to carry a weapon.
So, here's the next question. Should that officer be commended, suspended, or recommended?
For him, I mean, obviously, he grew up in the same atmosphere because, look, he acts just like they are.
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
So, should he be commended? Recommended?
Oh, no, he should not be commended. Oh, no. Okay. No. There's no commendation in that right there.
Okay.
There's no commendation. No. No commendation.
We have Daryl.
Oh, you think he should be commended?
Yes, ma'am.
Just because he urged the people out to get them in line.
You hear me? You're looking at the last part. When he did do that, he made that comply. Now, while you and the ones in the back didn't do nothing, if you watch the video, they complied because they started forming a line and getting their spot. So sometimes it takes being a little rough at the edges. That's all I see it as, rough at the edges. But he didn't try to go down. And I think he was right when he said, because if you...
I see your point. Okay. Did he try anything else before he did the rough around the edges? Did we see any of that? Did he use a bullhorn or whatever, foghorn, whatever they call those things, to project his voice? Or did he use that? Do we know? Do we know that he used that? Do we know that command present? Some people, they got that command present. He has that command present voice.
Yes, ma'am. And see, a lot of times, I'm a former correction officer. And a lot of times you have 100 inmates who just like how all those people was out there. And you have to be able to show authority to get them to comply. Now,
so you just equated those people to inmates.
No, man, I'm giving you an example.
You equated them to inmates.
Just like we are a lot of times. Like say if we work in the healthcare unit, it's no other officer that with the officer working in the healthcare unit. So you have to keep control. He had no other officers with him. So he had to take control of the situation. No, but I have done all that. Because I always learned to tell people to get in compliance. But he used his way, which I call it rougher on around the edge.
But that was the problem. There was a problem with Norfolk. They had 2 people there. Normally work with the partner anyhow.
I mean, he was really standing alone. So in that situation, like I said, I was trying to say get in compliance. You know, when I'm forming a line. Whereas he was just to the point where he was fed up. We don't know what all transpired before the video started. But at the same time, he got a line.
Okay, we got another caller, Mike?
Yeah, we got another caller.
Yeah, he got a line. He sure did. He got a line at the end. Because they wanted the application. Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
They will get the application.
And now, when you saying something about firearms, I say, you are right. We as black people, a lot of us can carry weapons legally. But in that type of situation, leave your weapons in the car. Because he's there to protect you. So why are you protecting yourself?
Well, I mean, Alabama's an open carry state. I mean, why they got to leave it in the car?
For his safety reasons. Okay, so
I'm just saying devil advocate at this particular point because they all talking about this Second Amendment right. You know, they just right to carry and all this kind of stuff. I'm saying we got a right to carry as well.
You're right.
So
you're right.
I'm just saying they could just carry it on, put their mask on. They could be like a whole John Wayne and just go out there and just carry it.
So that was just not one of those times to have your firearm on.
Ms. Adams, Ms. Daniel, we got somebody else want to join in on the conversation. Let's hear what they say. No, you can hang on. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Okay, there. This is Belinda. How are you?
Great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am. He said,
listen, I'm trying to hear.
We're gonna be a few seconds behind you.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I was watching this video, and the people are chiming in saying that the police was completely out of order. That police was not out of order. We are grown women, and we should know how to act. Okay, there. This is Belinda. How are you?
Yeah, so you got to turn your Facebook down. Okay. Okay, now you can talk. You can start talking again. Hello.
Mike, tell her to call my phone line. I can get it a little bit clearer. She can.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear.
Okay, then the thing about it is if they were in line to get some kind of assistance, it's no matter where to go, no matter what to do, they don't know how to act. So the police was probably frustrated. Yes, he did a lot of cussing, but he shouldn't be reprimanded for telling them what they tell each other every day, all day, anyhow.
So you think that even though he was using a lot of profanities, it was all right for him to do that just to get his point across? Ma'am? Hello? Miss Belinda.
Okay. Miss Belinda said she thought she didn't find it no problem that the officer using the profane language because this is something how our people talk among ourselves every day anyway. Calling each other's, the MFs and Bs and H's and all that. So I guess the question saying we as African Americans is adapted to that.
The police probably get tired of that.
Everybody doesn't talk like that.
Every time y'all come over here, y'all gotta act like this. We should act better.
So Miss,
That
yeah, I can't hear it now, Mike.
She stopped talking, but she said that police officers get tired of hearing that ignorant, seeing that ignorant stuff every time they get together.
Well, then you got tired of killing us. I could care less what they get tired of hearing.
So what you think? What you think?
Tired of killing us.
Well, that's what they get paid for. They're gonna hear that ignorant stuff all the time because in some areas of the city, because that is the social economic, that means that area of the town, there the educational level is low. So when you hear that, that's poverty. So you expect that. So you already expect that. You know that it's going to happen. So you already prepared for it.
Let me get
when they set that all up, the housing authority, the city, should have made sure they had all those preparations in place when that take place to inform the people that came up to get the applications so they can do so in a commonly manner. The same way they do with the voting booth. The same way they tell us to line up, they have all the signs out there, where to stand at, when to go in and all that. That's the same process they should apply to this situation. But seeing that they didn't, which cops are, not all the cops, but most cops are so used to disrespecting us, regardless of what area of town we live in. It doesn't matter if we're living on, say, the west side versus the north side. The point is, they've been used to talking down to us and cussing us out and daring us to even over our mouths. So
I got a question.
They didn't put those processes in place to make sure everything stayed orderly, and that when the people walked up, they saw the signs, they knew what to say, they knew how to act and what to do, so they can get on, make the process simple and easy. Everybody get what they want.
Go ahead, Ms. Adams.
Get in and out. But they didn't do that. They just throw them out there and said to control the crowd.
I have a question.
Okay.
From my understanding, see, I grew up in a housing project, no circle, and from my understanding, I know that a police officer is assigned to that project. So,
yeah.
Why other police officers didn't come to the housing authority along with just that one police officer for backup as well? I'm quite sure he was not just sitting over there in No Circle or Valley Hills or just all of them just sitting there just riding through and just, he could have been over there.
Well, let me give you what probably was the scenario in this case. I don't know for detail for sure. More than likely, the housing authority probably knew it was going to be a large gathering, and they probably hired an off-duty officer to come and work this scene. And by them, of course, not want to pay a whole lot. He probably was paid off-duty pay, and he handled it the way he did. Let me just add, in my opinion, I can understand his frustration, and through my through my own personal situation, I've been written up for using profane language toward a person of our own code at one time. But that was a teachable moment for me of how to put myself back in a place to de-escalate the situation a little bit clearer. Now, with the experience I have now, what I would have told the housing authority okay, let's cancel this situation for right now because I'm the only person here. Uh, let's see, can we get somebody else over here to help with the scenario? Because technically, if he witnessed two young ladies fighting in that line, it should have been an arrest made. So if he'd have made the arrest, well, this is a law, disorderly conduct. If he'd have made the arrest, then he'd have left the housing authority or had to leave the housing authority unprotected. So I would have said, let's cancel this for right now. I'm gonna call a unit to have these two young ladies arrested, and then we come up with another better plan to issue out these vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I can see that. My understanding, when all of these things like this happen, these special events or these things happen at the I guess the home office or whatever, I'm under the impression that maybe the police officers that work in a specific housing project would actually be doing I guess, the detail, as they call it, the detail. But obviously, they're not the detail. So they get someone else who do not have a relationship with the people in the different housing projects. So therefore, he doesn't have a connection with them at all. So it seems to me that whenever they do things like this, maybe they should use the people that are the police officers that are assigned to those projects because they should have a working relationship or rapport with the people. They know them. They actually know them. Therefore, when they get there and they see them, oh man, I know him. So they're gonna do what he says.
Well, remember,
and they're gonna line up.
Well, these were people from all over the city and the county to, so these weren't just people, these were not the everyday individuals that live in West Circle or North Circle.
Exactly. But you know those saying, when a few start doing something, what happens? Others follow.
It was a teachable moment. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say for that officer that will probably be a teachable moment. I know Chief Burton from Northport, and I think he's fair, but I think that would be a teachable moment for that officer. It does get so frustrating to see our own personal people acting the way, and we didn't see it, but I'm just saying based on testimony of the voices that a fight broke out.
When you publicize something like that, our own people degrading us, it makes it look so much worse. That, oh, see, look at this. Mm-hmm. Even another black person is degrading us. How can we rise above that?
We can't.
Even the police officer, the one that is held high esteem right now, where the white people have put them on a pedestal that they can do no wrong. And he has degraded the black people who represent many of the Black Lives Movement. And that's all they got to say. Okay, yeah, look at them. They're a bunch of animals.
What do you think he would have talked that way if it wasn't white people in that line? Do you think that way if there were white people in that line?
Found a way to turn a people against itself. Mm-hmm. And once they realized they could do that, a lot of things they don't have to do no more. They don't have to insinuate. We insinuate on ourselves. As you said, I agree 100% that we downgrade one another too much. It doesn't. It's not just situations like this. It's in business. It's in housing. It's in every facet that we do that. You know, we look at a person and we say, they ain't gonna be able to afford this, so I ain't gonna try to sell them this.
Let me let a caller join the conversation. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
But once again, I ask y'all, do y'all think he talked?
Floyd didn't do nothing. That nigger should be still alive.
Okay. Okay. Somebody join the conversation with their own personal feelings.
Okay.
Do y'all think that he talked that way because it was black people in the line, or because he was trying to get everything under control?
Okay, we got another caller. Go ahead, caller.
I wouldn't say it no other way.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, man?
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, good. Let's talk about George Floyd. That motherfucker deserved it.
He do
what? What you got to say about that? What you got to say about that?
Get this dude out the phone. Keep dropping him.
What you got to say about that?
He need help. He needs serious help.
We're not talking about George Floyd tonight.
What you got to say about that, George Floyd, eh?
Drop him.
What?
Drop him. He
Oh my
needs help.
God.
He
Oh
needs
my
serious
God.
help.
Okay.
Drop him.
Okay.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna ask this question again. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I've asked it several times and I haven't got an answer yet. Do y'all think that the police officer was speaking to those people in line because they were black, or would he have done it to anybody who was in that line?
I think he was frustrated. He used his emotions got the better of him. He was so frustrated that not listening to him at that particular point, that he just finally lost it. That's one thing that a police officer cannot do. They're held to a higher standard when it comes to their emotions.
The first time I heard a police officer speak politely to me, I was 29 years old. And that's been the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving. I wasn't doing it to nobody. I wasn't robbing nobody. I wasn't doing nothing. I was driving. And I was getting pulled over to get a ticket. I knew I was speeding. Gave him all my information and everything. But I got caught out. But I kept my cool. They talk to us, period, like that.
I'm good. How about you?
Because they're in those situations. It didn't have nothing to do with the situation. They can't talk to us like that anyway. Because they know that the way. And they know they can use that authority to keep your mouth shut and not sit back.
I'm sorry, I can.
They know they can use that to intimidate. That's an intimidation method that they're being taught. They're not being taught that now, but they've been taught that over the years. This attitude that he showed, that he displayed, this ain't nothing new to him. This is what he used to do when he's speaking to black people. Regardless of whether or not they are in a certain area of town. I can sit here and say, he probably just got frustrated. I get frustrated all the time. I ain't got to say no words like that. And then to tell them that they better not have no fun out there.
Well, I can tell you that he's
when you just trying to get people in line. Now, if you're going to arrest the two girls that got into it, arrest them and be cool with it. Make sure everybody else stays calm. And be in an order fashion, get that done. You ain't got to get out like that. I'm not going to excuse that. You can excuse it all you want to, but I will never in my life excuse that kind of behavior. Or him, I'm not excusing that kind of behavior. I'm not giving them no go ahead because he was frustrated. Go see a shrink if you get frustrated on the job. If it's that bad, go talk to somebody about your problem.
All right, we got another
you
call.
Come taking no problems out.
We got a lot of print callers calling.
Go see a shrink.
I mean, how y'all got frustrated?
Hey, how you? We got a little echo. You got a little echo. I'm sorry. I can't understand you, sir.
They jiving.
Okay.
Some of the motherfuckers, they jiving. What they talking about don't have nothing to do with the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've been getting a few prank calls tonight.
Yeah, I see it coming in. Well, let's see. I'm gonna read some of the comments right quick. Pastor Anthony Martin said that was a fiery speech from the police officer, but sometimes you have to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Sometimes things are spoken out of fear, frustration, and anger. That's a lot of pressure, but it's still a right way to do anything. Belinda said, I think he did what needed to be done at that moment. People, these women were fighting, or are we overlooking that? Belinda also said, why should there be police anyway? Why can't they just do right or at least act like grown women? Deborah Blair said, not everyone was acting that way. He was wrong. If a white officer speak that way, we would be upset. So what you think, y'all?
Well, you know what? Sometimes, you know, I do a lot of YouTube videos, and I see these police videos, and they say sometimes, you know, it doesn't require an arrest. So sometimes, you know, when a person, two people get into a fight, it doesn't have to require arrest. You can break it up and you can handle it right then and there, and you can settle it then. And so it seems like that's what he did at that particular point, to keep these two ladies out of the system. You know, they have children. Okay, probably thinking about the children. And so he kept them out of the system, in which I applaud him for that.
Deion Washington said police just beat a woman. Call in and tell us what's going on, Deion. I guess it's something that's going on Facebook somewhere. See, can we get Deion to call in? Deion Washington said police just beat a woman. You know, I guess you can say, regardless of everyone's opinion that's on here tonight, I think it's a teachable moment that officer is really gonna face. I mean, that's part of the training. I think everyone is crying for, and it's unfortunately that it was another African American police officer that was doing it. But if this was a white officer,
you know, man,
using the same language toward our African American women.
Oh, okay, hold on one second.
The African American men point at this point?
Hey man, there's some white guys trolling y'all. You keep
As a woman, I am the same way because I'm feeling the same way the way he was talking to these women and being an African American male. So if he were a white male talking to them the same way, that's so much disrespect. So either way, disrespect both ways, black or white. So there's no gray area.
You know what I've mentioned on the show many times, speaking on this. Growing up in East Circle Golf. No East Circle, West Circle, any project in Northport and Tuscaloosa is like the back of my hand. And the most problems I ever had were from African American cops. The most cussing out I got was from African American cops. The threats that I got in my life were from African American. Most of the threats I got were from African American cops. So I don't give them no pass me, because they should even know better, even more than the white cops. And they knew the neighborhood, they knew the people in the neighborhood, but they didn't care. They didn't care. They still treated you like you were nothing. They still talk to you like you were nothing to nobody. They still cursed you out. Regardless of who was out there standing out there looking.
Hey, Daryl.
God gave them power.
Yeah, man.
No.
In their head. In their head, they did.
Mike, you had somebody on the phone line?
Yeah, Dion is on the phone line.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dion.
Hey, how's it going, Daryl?
Hey, guys.
How you doing today, man? I noticed there's a lot of trolls in your chat, man.
You got to turn us down in the background. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of trolls in your chat, guys. What's going on? It's a bunch of haters.
Yep.
About my nigga George Floyd statue.
Mike, it sounds like you got your another George Floyd supporter.
We actually
okay. Let's put this out. Let's put this out there, Mike. George Floyd was sentenced to 22 years. Okay, everybody, he's been sentenced to 22 years. Let's just deal with it. Okay, hold on one second.
That wasn't enough.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, we got to be straight up honest about this. I'm gonna answer the one of the hosts. If that was an all-white audience out there in the exact same situation, there's no way he would have talked to the white women like that. And we got to quit saying, we got to quit saying that's the only way that could have been handled. Right? Because it's not. If like you said, they knew it was going to be a big crowd. They knew that it was going to be young women out there, young girls with children in that line. They knew it was going to be hot. They should have had that thing organized. They should have been out there from the start, getting them in order and line. And that letter that he read, he should have made that clear. They could have made that clear before anything ever started. But if those were white women, ain't no way he would have talked to them like that. No kind of way. And we got to be careful when we say that's the only way. And when we condone that type of behavior and say he was just frustrated, but there's no other way. Because see, when we say that, we open the door for the other things to come into play, and we justify the behavior that comes and escalates after that. What's going on in other places? We can't open the door to that. We got to keep that door shut. He is a human being, yes. He's supposed to have training. He's supposed to have a protocol. When he stepped outside of his training and protocol, he was wrong. I don't care what color they was out there. So when he stepped outside of protocol, he was wrong. Yeah. If they didn't have a protocol, if that was their protocol, then we could say he right. If they didn't have a protocol, then we could say he was justified. But they have a protocol, and he is paid and trained to follow protocol. He was wrong.
He was wrong. I say that because when I say that he was frustrated, I meant to say that also he was completely wrong to use his frustration out on the ladies that were in line. Because he should not have done that, because he was, all the training that he supposedly had received should have prepared him for all of that. And so when I say that he was frustrated, I should have asked.
I understand that. I wasn't
as well.
Yeah, I wasn't coming together.
They're lacking that training. And so a lot of that, like you said, I grew up in those circles, and the police officers, you're right. The ones that came around, the black ones, they the one that cussed you out and all that kind of stuff. You looked at them and you rolled your eyes at them and all that kind of stuff. You couldn't do anything. So, but in that particular setting, who to mess with and who to stay away from, and so forth.
Well, can I say this? Can I say this also?
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
We saying what white people or white women or other folks wouldn't have done. See, we fall for the stereotype because guess what? White people commit more violent crimes. White people, more white people on welfare than black people. It's more white people in prison in the system than black people, but it looked like it's more of us because we the one put on TV. It looked like we commit the more violent crimes because we the ones be put on TV. It looked like it's more of us in prison or in the system because when we go to court, white people get sentenced to house arrest. They get sentenced to drug treatment programs. They get sentenced to all of that different type of stuff. But we don't want to go to prison. So when you see the prison system and there's more black people in there, it looks like more black people is in the system. So it looks like we the problem, and ain't nobody else acting a fool but us. But that's not true. If you look at the numbers will say that we are not the real problem. We are not, but it's just shown, and we see it every day because these are the community we live in. But we not. But we justifying their foolishness by saying that man was right and justifying him talking to them sisters like that. Well, irregardless, at the end of the day, no, they don't know how to act. And you look at that crowd, most of them was young girls with babies. They're trying to get Section 8. They're not no grown women. They're not no grown women. They ain't gonna act like grown women. They immature children with children. And we gotta still treat them as such. Them, at the end of the day, irregardless of how they act, them still our girls. Them still our young women. And get what? They are fruit from our tree at the end of the day. So it's the end of the day. At the end of the day. And we can't stand and let nobody treat them no different than everybody else get treated. Even if it's our own. Even if it's our own.
So,
correct.
in going with numbers, I'm gonna go with numbers just for the state of Alabama, and I pulled it up real quick. Black males that's in Alabama prison, that's 12,570. White males, 9,885. Black females, 547. White females, 1,534. Other males, 191. Other females, 7. Come to a total of 24,734,000 together, all together. That's in the state of Alabama. So to the numbers for the state of Alabama might vary from city to city, from state to state, for its prisoners. But here's what I think a lot of people want to understand. And he hung up. What I think the young ladies are saying, we wouldn't have to deal. They don't think we would have to deal with the amount of embarrassment. I'm gonna use the word embarrassment. If there was a line of white women in line to get their vouchers, but at the same time, we can't. How can we get the expectation level of our African American people? I'm gonna just say people, not just women, men. How can we get our expectation level? You know, we got our young men killing each other. Now we got young women that's killing young men. So what can we do to educate our people more to stop this stereotype?
Has to be restored. The home family structure has to be restored. If you look at all the statistics, they all gonna tell you that all of these, the percentages, I read them 1,000 times. The percentages say that all of this is stemming from fatherless homes. The facts. If you look up the statistics, it's gonna say that 85% of the people, the men in prison, come from fatherless homes. The children that's failing in school, fatherless homes. You look at the attitudes and the problems they're having with anger issues, fatherless homes. All of it go back to fatherless homes. All the way down to even children who are obese. The high percentage, fatherless homes. Fatherless homes. It all go back to fatherless. So the structure, the family structure, have to be put back. Men have to be restored. Family structure have to be restored, and then we can start working. That's the base. We said a home. It started at home. Okay, if it started at home, what's the structure of the home? Is the structure of a home in place? No, it's not. So that's where we go. That's where we go. That's where we go. And the numbers about the prison, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about the system. Prison is part of a system. So when I say it's more white people in the system than white people, there's more white people in the system than black people. But the system itself, they get for a greater worse crime, they get less sentencing, meaning that they go to just like with Section 8. It looks like more of us on Section 8 because when you go to Rosedale, McKinn's Coat, Hay Coat, all of those, you see black people. But when you go to these whole communities that's garden homes, that's Section 8, with 2 car garages, that's Section 8, you see white people. It don't look like a Section 8. So it looks like it's more of us in the system than white people.
100% right.
Got another caller. Right. We got another caller. Go ahead, caller. Let's see what you got to say.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Great.
Hey, I'm just chiming in late.
We talking about your hometown over there, Norfolk.
I hear. But let me tell you, I'm only going to step off what I know. The dangerous part of today is it's not the father's homes no more. It's still that's a part. But it's people, it's the kids that don't have to be out there acting a fool. They doing it to fit in. Because you got people. When I grew up, when you sell drugs, it was a way to get out. Now you have kids with both parents, with a father at home that loves them,
that leaves the suburbs to come to be in the inner city and act for food. But it was not making no sense. Because, a lot of them, you got to understand is we got to teach our kids to respect themselves. No one can respect them if they don't respect themselves. And yet, that's right. We respect women, we have to protect them. But how can we protect them when we ain't out there representing them?
Okay. Let me say something on that. Okay. Now, the statistics say this. Even though a father may be in the home paying bills, buying clothes, you see what I'm saying? Doing everything, doing all the responsibility that a man should do, but the statistics also say this, that emotionally unavailable fathers in a home get almost the identical results as an absent father. So one thing I learned, just because a child has a mother and a father in the house, that don't mean they come from a good home, because there's lots of people who I thought came from a good home, and I wonder, why they out here like this? Why are you doing it? But when you sit down and talk to them, these folks don't even talk. A lot of them don't even sleep in the same room. If they dad are going upside the mama head, there's lots of stuff that I can't even say who come from a good home no more, because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
That's true.
But the statistics say it's fatherless homes. Now you bring anybody brings some statistics, some studies, some facts that prove otherwise, then I agree to go that route. But right now the statistics, the facts say it's fatherless homes.
I gotta add education to it. Dion, I have to add that a lot of those guys probably don't have a 6th grade education too, or a 6th grade level.
And get what it said down. 71% of the children that's failing in school, that's scoring poorly on tests. 71% of those children that can't read, that have poor thinking skills. 71% of them come from fatherless homes.
But bro, can I tell you,
Kev, before you go there, let me ask you this. What about the officer in Northport on yesterday? Did you hear about that or see that?
I think I didn't hear about it. What's going on?
That's what we talking about. Officer over in Northport, that Northport Housing Authority was getting out vouchers.
Okay.
And he used some profane language to get his point across out of frustration of what took place. From my understanding, a fight took place, and it just got a little crazy. And he used profane language to gain control of the situation. And I hate to say go back to it, but how do you feel about that?
I have mixed issues on it. Like to me personally, you can't disrespect a female. I'm all the way for, we should respect our women, no matter white, black, Asian, whatever. Because we got the young people in front of us. But if we keep it real there, on your show, we try to keep it all the way real.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, truth is the truth.
Well, sometimes you gotta meet force with whatever force is there, and the catch we get is we have excuses for ourselves. Now, if I go out there and slap 10 people, and then 10 people slap me back, are they wrong because they slap me back, or am I wrong for slapping them? So we gotta look at it in both ways. And guess what? We gotta hold our kids accountable for their actions. But I know we were talking about the going to jail rate and all that. It's because we don't.
Hold on, okay?
All right. The same kind of justice is you don't. You get what you pay for. And yes, is some of the guys that don't look like us, they gonna spend a little bit more money and get a lawyer. That lawyer, they're not getting that lawyer. They're getting them friends who friends with that lawyer. You see what I'm saying? Your money you're paying for the friendships that lawyer done made. So the higher you have to spend with them, sometimes be down that road. And I ain't perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect, and I never will say I was or even put it on. But I made a mistake. I paid. That's why I got out. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes we can't ask for equal justice if we ain't willing to pay for it.
We got another call on the line. Let's see what that caller got to say. Hold on.
We talking about stereotyping, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what he did, we saying some of us saying that if there were white women, he would have did the same thing. Okay. We talking about stereotyping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's just like when I was at the mosque over there in Ttown. You used to have the white police come over there, sit next to that building. When he was supposed to be patrolling that area and sit over there and write tickets real quick to make their quota, then go back to the area. Now, if they go in the white community and sit at the stop sign, if a black officer go in the white community and sit at them stop signs and then make their quota and go back to their area, all them tickets get thrown out. It's not going to be allowed. The things that's done in our community, and we're not talking about when the police do right. We're talking about when they do wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that officer did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day,
yeah,
he did wrong.
Yes, he did.
We got one other call.
Listen, when we say there's no other way he could have handled it, we are saying that we are so animalistic that if we don't get cussed out, we don't know how to act. So what about the man that says, if I don't go upside her head, she ain't gonna get in line? You gonna ride with that? Black women the stereotype is black women don't know how to act. So if men start whooping their ape and saying that they don't know how to shut their mouth, you gonna go along with that?
We got one other call. Let's hear what they go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Okay.
All right. It's wrong. It's wrong. I don't agree with what was said from the officer. How he did it. And a lot of time we do make excuses. Wrong is just wrong. But I believe in you have to deal with the whole puzzle. Black or white. I can go down that line because I'm a full African black man. But when it's wrong, it's just wrong. Whether it's come from white, whether it comes from black, and we have to confess whether we pro-black, whether we don't want to deal with it. But some of us, we have to deal with the problem. It is a bit, like you said, it could have been done a different way. And a lot of times people treat you according to how you act. That doesn't make it right. But that's what you got, a reaction. If somebody comes slap me in my face, well, immediately I'm going to think, let me slap them back. Now, that ain't the right thing to do, especially for scripture. But it's my reaction. You groom people how to treat you, but how you act. And some of us, and don't study, this don't take me wrong, but some of us, we are tough. We are tough generation. We're tough people. And sometimes that's taken out of context. Sometimes we're misjudged because of how tough we are, how we talk, how we get excited, how we go after stuff. And sometimes people treat us like dogs. People mistreat us. But on the same hand, sometimes we bring it to ourselves because of our conduct, how we act. And this is what I want to see. This is what I pray for daily until we can get to the mind, whether our father was in the home or our father was not in the home. My father and my mama were separated. I ain't trying to tell you all my business, but I was raised up in a home without my father. But I still got the teacher. I mean, they didn't work out, but the teacher I got how to act in public, how to work,
how to ask for stuff, how to treat people the way I want to be treated, and sometimes we don't know how to treat one another. Now that officer said, I don't know what kind of day he had. I don't know. No, it was wrong. I mean, I ain't heard no cussing like that for in a long time. I mean, a long time, but that kind of cussing right there, folks cuss you out like that when they done, they done had enough. That's how it used to be, the older when they had enough. Now it wasn't right. But I say you right quick.
Okay.
I mean, it's just if you say it, I understand what you just said. That your father and your mother had broke away and you came out right. Now, this is the part that we miss. If I said that 70% of children that's in, if I said 70% of children that's in prison came from fatherless homes, then that means it's 30% still out there. You were part of that 30%. You got it. But that 70% that's coming from the fatherless home that's not getting it, that's too big of a number to ignore the fact. Absolutely. So all of it, because it's plenty of people that came from two-parent homes, and just like somebody else said, it's people that came from, it's still going to be those in that percentage that come from two-parent home and had good fathers. But we're talking about, that's too big of a number, 70%. And you have to give God the praise, give him the glory that you were part of that 30%. But we still got the 70% that we got to get. So, bro, that's right. That's right, bro. Can I say something, though? Well, I think we're missing out at 70%. How many of them made a choice? You know, it still makes a choice if you're going to go down that road. It's still a Damascus road. You have a choice. You're going to go that way or you're going to go that way. For you to come back, and I'm not being ugly and I'm not being rude, but I'm saying when we respond like that, we not getting it. When we respond like that, we not getting it.
Jennifer,
70%, 85%, 90% of the stuff that's going on out here is from fatherless homes. That means they coming from a house that didn't have structure.
Jennifer, call in. Jennifer,
I agree with what you
call
said.
in.
I say all the time, and I'm not perfect by all means. I'm just a sinner that God saved. But it's very few men. I've seen everything. I could have did what I want to do, but it's very few people that made it out the way I did. So you're right. Yeah, I wasn't speaking to you what I just said after I wasn't speaking on that. I know what you mean. But you're right. He was speaking to me, but what I was saying was it's some strong women out there. We got to give credit. You know, God used a lot of women because the men wasn't there. And I ain't gonna lie, my mom raised 9 of us without no daddy. You get what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. The father makes a point. If the father in the house gonna be better. You know, but he has to be led by God. You get what I'm saying? He has to have help. You get what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. And 70% is more. So that's where it come in. The girl, the me, we have to step in and be. So that's who we gonna be. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying is that's where I come in with what Darren was talking about over in Northport. That's where I'm trying to be. What you talking about that 70%, I'm trying to step in and be a percentage of daddy, father figure, someone they can come to and talk to, someone they can watch me. So you get what I get what you're saying. You're definitely right. I'm not going to say it's not against that. It is 100% the father, but also too, some daddy don't know how you be no daddy. Because if you don't know, you never been taught love, how you gonna teach somebody else love?
Let me read a couple of these comments. Jennifer Prince said, "Now y'all know darn well if the officer have said, can you ladies please settle down and get on a single file line, their butt would not have paid him no kind of attention." Deborah Blair said, Northport Housing Authority should have had security and wrote the line, better organizing skills. Let's see.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, Veronica said they would have laughed at him and asked who he was talking to. Daniel Van Horn said the officer dealt with the situation. Stereotypes didn't lead to his reaction. Crowd control was all he was trying to restore. If there's a PPO that says he can't use profanity, he will be reprimanded. Other than that, nobody got hurt or went to jail. Compliance done.
The first guest to called in.
Made an example out of two and sent them home. Put them out the line. They said they weren't gonna get the vouchers. They got in line. There was other ways to handle that instead of cussing them out like that.
And they
He
said
would have been out of protocol, out of line. If he was okay, I'll tell you what, y'all two, go get in your car. Y'all two for the day. Don't get back in the line. You right there, so you can't get in line. Go get in your car and leave. They would have got in line. They don't take that. They don't take all that.
Hey, Daryl.
Yeah.
Daryl. Jennifer's on the phone.
Who?
Jennifer.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Got another caller. Hold on, y'all. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yes, Daryl.
So you don't think the officer? How do you say the officer right or wrong?
Well, I don't, know if he's supposed to cuss or not, but sometimes you have to get your point across, and that's the best way he could do it. And if it was me, I think he did a good job because there was a lot of people out there in line, and there was only one officer. So I don't know if the police are trained to deal with a crowd by themselves or not. But due to the fact that he was by himself and they got in line.
Okay. We're gonna see if all these opinions like that when it's your child. When it's your child, when it's your personal child in a situation like that, and they ain't doing nothing wrong, like somebody said, all of them out there weren't acting a fool. Right. So your child is in an environment like that, and they did that wrong, and something happened to the extent we're gonna see if everybody gonna be saying that's the only way he could have handled it.
I'm seeing more women though. I'm seeing more women that's in agreement, and these are African American women that are in agreement to how the officer handled the situation. Is that became the norm? And don't get me wrong, you don't really see a whole lot of African American officers that were at that frustration. I guess I don't think, because I think we're more patient minded. I think more African American officers are more patient on the circumstances, but I'm seeing more women are saying he did what he needed to do to handle that situation. Are we being overprotective in this situation?
African American officers, period, and women don't want these African American officers reprimanded.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Somebody said can we see it again? If Marlo, are we able to show just a little bit more of it? I'm talking to my producer.
Mello, if you got that video, can you put a little bit more on it?
Just play it one more time to an extent for some people can hear majority of it.
Only thing, and everybody out here, I'll cut this shit off right now. Whoever's out here, I'll cut this shit off, and I guarantee your ass won't be shit here. And I mean what I got to say.
You doing that? Say yeah, cutting up, ain't it?
All the reason, see, you can't talk to y'all with no goddamn sense. You got the damn cuss to get some shit across to y'all ass. And I'm sick of this shit.
Ooh,
folks giving y'all a damn nervous, and y'all want to have
I like somebody dead.
y'all want to I do with this damn uniform. You ask me. Because I'm going to decide what's right. And anything wrong, I don't tolerate it. And I'm sick of this shit. Hell, and I'm sad to say, we got to be the damn ones that act a goddamn fool.
There you go.
Now I'm sick of this shit. You want to goddamn fight? Do it somewhere else. You're not. And I'll tell you what I got to say. Every last one of y'all.
Well, say it was at her winning. Hold it. Girl start shit where she go. That don't make no sense up there, man. Put that black bonnet on up there. She got that. That shit just crazy, man. Right there.
That paper says you ain't got to be first in line to get an application. The problem is we don't damn read. That's the problem.
Damn.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, he finna get on. Yeah. Can they check your house? Are you fucking serious?
All right, now this how this thing gonna go. The paper clearly says, and I'm gonna read it to you. They don't want to read it. It says, please understand that you do not have to be first in line to receive an application. The place of waiting list determines on when you turn it in. It ain't got nothing to do with no more house. You understand what I'm saying? So you choose to be out here in line. So if you hot, then you better talk to yourself. Not God. You chose to be out here. Otherwise, you can leave and you can come back at 10 like everybody else. They get your application and you walk off. So if you hot, baby, don't complain to me because I don't care. I got all this black on it. I'm here all day long today. Today ain't today. I'm just being honest with you. If I got to peel this shit off when I go home, you hot, I'm hot too. Ain't no damn difference. So if you want to fight today, I guarantee you better take it elsewhere. And I'm going to say this. If you got anything on you, only one out here better have a gun, it better be me. So if you got anything else on you, I advise you to take it to your car and leave this premises right now. Because if I find it, I'm locking your ass up. Now, I'm not playing with y'all today. If you got anything, whether it's a knife or whatever the case, man, I don't care if you got a damn screwdriver in your purse.
Kevin, they said this girl St. Yale trying to fight that little skinny, this little black girl right here that's pregnant.
Right now.
Yeah, where she go? She started fucking shit, man. Damn.
Now, I want y'all to form
It
one
don't make
thing, and that's the way I want y'all to be for the duration of this process. Otherwise, you will
I'm right here with
be in
y'all.
this process, and you will be doing it on my call, and I'm not playing.
Y'all let me squeeze in somewhere.
Everything else, you better shut your mouth. Y'all act like goddamn 1, 2, 3 here.
Oh, shit.
You're not going to bring this shit to Northwood. No, you're not.
There you go. Tell they ass.
You can take the shit with
Tell they ass. Want to cut up early fucking morning. Let me squeeze in with y'all, because this is what we want.
Alright, okay. Everything else at this point is we just do what needs to be done, okay? Again, you don't have to be first in line to get nothing.
Come on, sister said Monique. Come on, Nick, you need to get on here.
You might need to sit out there, but you might need to sit out there.
Right here. She right here.
De-escalation is not, it's not trained enough. I mean, we all say de-escalation is a necessary thing that police need to learn. And de-escalation is one of those things that is not taught enough. So I can say I feel his frustration in his voice. And I can disagree and agree because I've been in his position. But now that I know better,
Right.
it would have been handled a whole different way.
And that's it. And that's all we saying. And that's all we saying. I ain't saying that he should be fired. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying he was wrong.
We had okay. I thought Jesse was calling in. Hey, this has been a great show, great conversation, y'all. We talk about stereotyping and racial profiling and social biases. Let me see, can I get Veronica on here with us?
Like I said, I think that everybody on this phone.
Okay, Veronica's on here too. Go ahead, Veronica.
Oh, hey, Dan. Hey, everybody. Okay. Yeah, I think with some situations like with this one, because you guys know how I feel about road cops and bad cops.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, that's a no. That's a -0 for me. But some of our parents have taught us, raising us that way. This kind of goes back to when we've been talking about how people act and how some of these kids are acting. Those are women over the age of 18 with children who are out there trying to get housing. If they can't stand in a line together in peace, how the world are they going to live in this neighborhood with peace? And then there was about to be a fight.
Veronica, listen to what the girl said. If you listen to what the girl said, she said she just was in a house and got put out. The girl that was fighting. So this not all of them out there acting a fool. There was one girl who they say go act a fool everywhere she go fight with somebody else. But I'm gonna get that to everybody out there.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I know who it was, and I know how she operates. This is normal. So it's probably not even the first encounter he's had with her. What those girls were saying was absolutely right. Now, that being said, I get what you're saying. It wasn't everybody out there. And I do think that he should have addressed them, but had he addressed them, then who was going to address the rest of them? Because you really don't know, like they said, it was one officer. We really don't know who's out there. Usually these people out there, these young people, these actors, we have seen over a few weeks, it's cliques. It's cliques. Yeah, because those two is off. He probably was like, okay, y'all are going to bring this here today like this. And I don't think they would have talked to white women like that. I don't. But also, I don't think the white woman would have been made to stand in line like that. I still go back to critical race theory. When we throw out some meat out to hogs, the way people meat out to the slaves, they're going to fight over. They throwing vouchers out there. It was going to be probably more than one thing would pop out. Hey, we let that run and then escorted them off. We don't know what would have happened. So I still say, how you going to live together in peace if you can't even stand in the line and get a roof over your head for you and your child in peace? And those were adult women. And they talking about the cursing. Now, I ain't saying I agree with him cursing. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is we're focusing so much on him instead of focusing on what we've been talking about for weeks. Why are these young adults acting the way they act? So I'm not excusing him at all. But I just think in this conversation tonight, the focus has been so much on everybody in here tonight. Because like Mr. Patricia was saying, some of them cuss each other out like that. And then like DeAndre said, it don't make it right for somebody to go upside somebody's head because they got an out. It didn't make it right for him to curse at all those people, all those young women because they got an out. But again, I feel like other people said, it was on housing authorities to know that there are going to be long lines. There have been times where there have been long lines and other officers have been out there. They even had people walk. So I don't know what went wrong on this particular day. Because with COVID and all that, a lot of people trying to find places. And that young lady, she house to house. She missed and missed every week. She going somewhere fighting in the complex. She on the west side. She on the south side. She in Northport. She everywhere fighting. And you know those doctors that they're taking in Northport, you really don't know where they're going to get in the farm yet. So I still just say he should have shut it down. I honestly feel like shut it down when it started. It wasn't everybody, but sometimes everybody has to deal with the consequences of what's the thing to do. So shut it down. If everybody don't want to be talked to a certain type of way, shut it down. It's just like he wouldn't have talked to those white women like that. I don't think had he been a white officer, they would have been as ready to fight or as quick to want to fight. And like I said, he was wrong. No questions asked, no doubt about it. But when you one officer, this man has been listening to stuff that's going on in these communities just like us, y'all. He probably was like fed up with like, why we act like this? And now, we say officers are held to a high standard. I believe that. You said uphold the law, but we're all still human, and I still always believe that we walk on the line between sanity and insanity. And at any given point, you can fall off on either side, no matter what you are.
I agree 100%. Exactly.
So I'm not saying he was right, but I just think our conversation could have been still geared to a little bit of what we've been talking about most of these weeks. What's wrong with these young people? You out there with your babies, some of you with your kids, and it's about to pop off. Because honestly, if I had been in their mind, as soon as they got ready to start fighting, I would have headed to my car. That's right. I would have headed to my car. Because if they had started fighting, you can build your bottom line. They would have been just what they did with the officer. They would have started recording. They wouldn't have been willing enough to say, y'all ain't going to fight today, sisters. We're trying to get some house.
Mike, you got somebody on the line?
Jennifer's still on the line.
Who?
Jennifer?
Mike, you got somebody on the line? Did you want to add something else?
You got anything else you want to say, Miss Jennifer?
No. I won't say that.
Did you want to add something else?
You got nothing else that you want to say?
Okay. Now, from my understanding, someone posted said the actual the voucher for people that were let me see what they said. Something relating to the disaster, I guess.
Probably you mean as far as like post-pandemic relief, some type of relief help?
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
Okay. But you know, even more importantly, with what's been going on, why are y'all out there? And listen, like DeAndre said, it was one person. That girl, she starts stuff or she ends stuff everywhere. So like I said, I do not agree with it. I just feel like we're trying to get some assistance. When are we going to be able to do something in peace without seeing each other thinking, oh, let's deal?
So she said she thought. Faye Price said, "I thought the voucher was for the flood victims."
May have been.
So I guess we you know, like I said, we don't know all the details of this whole scenario, but the stereotyping, the police officer, you know, and I hear people say we hold police officers to a higher standard. We hold police officers to it. We're human. Nurses human, teachers human, doctors human. But we all say they held to a higher standard. Is it they held to a higher standard in performing a job, or they held to a higher standard in society? But we can't forget.
For me, as a nurse, I feel like it's both. You're held to a higher standard in order to perform your job, because can't know anybody just come and start an IV. Me as a nurse, there's certain nurse things I haven't been trained in. I just can't walk up in the hospital and say, "Hey, I'm just going to do so-and-so like a nurse practitioner."
Correct.
You know, so I'm held to a higher standard to understand what I can't do as well. So if you're a police officer, you are held to a higher standard. You already know what the job is once you get into it. And people don't like to hear that, but me as a nurse, I knew what the job meant when I was getting into it. I didn't like to deal with blood, but I like to deal with people.
Now, with me being a convicted felon, if I go apply to be a police officer, can I get a job?
Nope.
No, sir. Hold on, Jess. Get you in.
That is. They put them on the same plane as everybody else, because they held to a high standard. They supposed to be, they values, they morals, they background, everything.
That's the whole purpose of taking oaths.
That's right.
That's the whole purpose of being held accountable.
I'm held to a higher standard. I'm a human being, and I can get mad and get frustrated just like the average person, but the way I display it, I can't do it like the average person.
Right. Why you held to a higher standard? Number one, because you're a pastor.
That's right. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And a pastor has a standard.
Exactly.
There's a standard in the book.
That's right.
And if you get outside that standard, what's going to happen? Somebody going to point it out. Really?
Oh, yeah. Yes, quick. Real quick. That's true.
Let me see, can I add Miss
I'm going to get off so somebody else can get off.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Got somebody else want to comment right quick. Hold on one second. Jesse, you there?
Wait, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
What's going on, Jesse?
All right. Yes, I appreciate you guys for replaying the video. You know, my opinion on that is I think that officer was a little bit out of line. You know, just all that cussing going on, it was just uncalled for. Me personally, I don't appreciate it. I mean, we've all been in the midst of kids when they get out a fight break out. I've been in a breakup or two with some young folks, but it doesn't give that officer the right to literally curse out a freaking whole community. It seemed like that just wasn't right. You know, now if you couldn't pinpoint who the perpetrators were, then he needed to do an investigation, which is what his job is to do. But as I feel like with some of these cops and the way they carry out their duties, they're lazy. They don't want to do the work. But instead, they react to situations like that, which is not a de-escalation, it's an escalation that he creates. So I don't agree with how his method in which he went about trying to get
what some people on here are saying, crowd control. I don't believe that was a positive control measure that he took. And now, I think you, as an ex-police officer, I doubt if you agree with the way he went about that. I don't think you would have. That's my opinion of you. But anybody else that feels that that cop did something right or he wasn't wrong, shame on you. You know, if he felt he couldn't handle that situation without, using what I call an escalating technique, because that's what it was. It was escalation. It could have escalated because he's cursing people out. It could have been some parents there and said, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't appreciate you cursing me out." Now you created an incident with an adult there that feels insulted by him cursing them out. Just because you're in a black neighborhood, and black folks around, does not give you the right as a black cop to use that type of profanity around children and anybody else. Go about your job in a professional manner, because you're on the clock for the city. He's on the clock for the city. And I'm quite sure there's guidelines that he needs to follow that he broke there, especially his code of conduct. I don't care what you say. His conduct was just ridiculous. I don't care what broke out there. There are procedures that he as an officer should have taken. If he couldn't, call back up. That's what you do. But you don't get around there cursing these people out because you the same skin color. That's ridiculous. That's like me going to your house and your yard and your children acting a fool, and I pull up and I see it, I curse them out. You gonna come out there and you gonna deal with me. Well, you may be acting a fool, sir, but you don't come in my yard cursing my children out. You call me, get some backup, the proper authorities. That's all I'm saying to people. That's what I'm saying.
So should he be suspended, commended, or recommended?
Well, he definitely shouldn't be commended. He should be reprimanded.
We have several women, African American women, that's in agreement to the method that he took to gain control of that.
But Darryl, I'm not surprised that some black women on that's listening to the show has that opinion, because a lot of them are kind of fed up with a lot of behaviors. But nevertheless, there may be some behaviors that you're fed up with, and then you're just saying, "Well, they tick me off." You're not a police officer. He is. His conduct was not proper. So we hold police officers at a different standard, because he's wearing the badge, not the parents. The parents their conduct can be conducted in their household any way they wish. So if you at home, you want to do that, that's your home, that's what you do. But your job, I don't know anybody's job that says when something gets, and then people are acting order, that you curse them out. That is the procedure. That is not a procedure by any officer. It's not. I don't care what the situation was.
I think, Jesse, you said you respected me. Now, earlier in the program, I don't know if you were listening at the time, I admitted, I've been in his shoes before. I admitted that there is frustration, that especially when it's just all us. And well, I'm just saying my point.
Okay.
I was written up, I guess you can say, or reprimanded about using profanity toward individuals. And I don't think there's an officer that probably haven't used profanity, but I use that as a teaching tool to use to make sure, because I'm gonna put it this way: I got 5 girls, and one of my daughters could have been in that line. You see what I'm saying? So that moment could have been, in other words, he got to put himself in the situation of saying, but that could have been my daughter in that line. And
that's right.
She didn't want to hear, or she shouldn't have to be punished behind the ignorance of two other girls.
Two individuals.
So
right.
I think it's a teaching moment, man. De-escalation. I keep saying it. De-escalation and learning people how to treat other people is a process. It ain't just like every day you go to training and say, hey, if you're in this position, y'all don't curse. Chief Anderson, Steve Anderson, I still praise him for things he did. He sent out a memo about when people pull over, you identify yourself. Hi, I'm Officer McKinstry. I'm pulling you over because you ran a red light at 15th Street and McFarland Boulevard. Can I see your driver's license and your insurance card, please? Those were his instructions.
Right.
Clear cut to the point.
Absolutely.
Not
with a respectful tone.
With a respectful tone, and not some and the reason he had to do that because people will pull you over. Did you not see that damn red light?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know you could have caused an accident? Give me your license. You know what I'm saying? So I praise him for doing it that way.
Right, and that's all I'm saying. Because sometimes when an officer comes out like that, I mean, you kind of stripping people of their dignity on here. You know, it's just a slap in the face. It doesn't matter that you have the same skin tone. You know, it just doesn't matter. People still need to be treated with respect. If there's altercation going on, his job is to investigate that altercation, not chastise a whole dumb village with profanity. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a cop, ex-cop, pre-cop, post-cop. It's not your job to chastise people. It's your job to do your job as an officer is trained to do his job. Now, if you lose sight of your training, then you need to go back to your department and talk to your superior officer and request some more training. So make sure you get it right. But you don't take out your frustrations on a crowd of people because you are too lazy. And I'm going to say it again, too lazy to do your job. There was a time right there, and I'm sure Darryl, he supposed to find out what the situation was, not black the whole community. That's all I heard from him. That's all I hear is this officer ranting on and on. And it seems sometimes you can rant so much that you get yourself upset. And that's what he did. He actually started his ranting. More he was ranting, his tone of voice started gaining more stress in it. That's not a good officer. I don't care what cop calls on here, puts on whatever, and they agree with him. Shame on them. They need some training, I guess. I'm just gonna call the spade what it is. You already know how I am. And I think I'm saying right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't care who you are. You don't agree with a cop because you're a cop. That's the problem with a lot of these cops now. These cops agree with cops because they're cops. No, you check your cop, your fellow officer, so we all can all get it right. Long as you accountability. Long as you say he's cool with it and you cool with it, they're gonna continue with it. It's gonna get worse and worse. You got to get the bad cops out.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Go ahead, Pastor Martin. You want to say anything else? Go ahead. 5 minutes. We're gonna end it. It's a 3-hour show tonight. It's the first time we did 3 hours. Go ahead.
No, and I'm getting ready to get off with the young man just saying he was like, don't agree with me because I'm a cop. But accountability goes a long way. And just because we're in the same field, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And that'll help too with a lot of this mess. Whether I'm a preacher or a police officer or just an everyday human being, be like, hey, look, hey, that was wrong. Now, in order to straighten this act up, we need to change that how we act, and we don't have that now. That's the thing I'm getting at. I'm African American, but that still doesn't give my brother or my sister the right to act like they're crazy, and we don't check one another. I mean, if we love one another, maybe we say we are,
Why don't we just say, hey, and it's the way you do it. Get them to themselves. Be like, hey, man, we can't be acting like that and expect folks to respect us. And you know, the thing we care about each other. Let's change how we talk. Let's learn a different way. And that's the thing, man. Until we learn a different way, which is the correct way, we're gonna keep getting the same results. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting something different. And folks don't want to change. That's the thing about it. You gotta want to change. Me myself, I hadn't always done everything right as far as delivering a message. Sometimes I was a little too hard, and not only God corrected me, but some of the same people would tell you, they'd be like, hey, Reverend, you were a little hard today. And when you think about it, you standing and they sitting, just put yourself in their shoes and be like, okay, I get it. So I mean you, Darryl, like you said, it was a teachable moment, and that's the thing about it. The teaching is lacking across the board. And when we err, okay, cry, whip yourself a little bit, but learn from it and do better. And we'll see some of this stuff, this rate go down. We will, because the conduct will change. Anytime correct conduct is in the field, the reaction to right conduct, it changes well. You're like, wait a minute, okay, hey, if we treat them like dogs now, we really guilty. That's right. Why? Because they acting like human beings. They acting the way they're supposed to act. They talking the way they're supposed to. So, hey, go ahead and treat me wrong now if you want to, but I'm coming to you like a man. I'm coming to you like a human being.
Well, listen, hey, we're gonna sum this whole series up on Thursday, and we can talk more about the teachable moment with this officer and how things ended up. Maybe I can get him to call in and explain, the stress behind this job, the stress behind the frustration. And yes, I understand we all say that the officers are held to a higher standards and they have a job to do. But hey, it's a teachable moment, and that's trained, as we say. That training ain't given every day. So, hey, we've been on 3 hours. Justin watched the basketball game and came on the show.
Oh, you're the boss now, huh?
So we're gonna sum up this whole series on racial profiling, racial biases, and stereotypes on Thursday, and we'll keep on at it, y'all. Until we talk more and more about things like this in our community, we understand how some people feel. Some people feel one way, some people feel another way. But I don't think it should destroy the community at all. It shouldn't destroy. In other words, it should enhance and educate us to understand more how one person feeling toward another feeling. And we just talking about African Americans against African Americans. We ain't even talked about how Asians or Mexicans or other nationalities are being, profiled or have biases against them. So we're gonna end it tonight. Go ahead, Mike.
I wanted to say before we did, it's interesting how majority of the men that called in were absolutely against that police officer, and majority of the women were in favor. I don't think nobody really cared for him, just using profane language like that. But they didn't care. They cared for his method. So that's an interesting thing all in itself. That's the man aspect and the women aspect. I wonder if it has a lot to do with just black men in general being the way they are with police officers in general. It don't care if it's a black police officer or a white police officer.
Well, we also protective of our young women. I mean, I know I am. I'm very protective of our young women in general, but I'm very protective of the young ladies, even though they were in the wrong. And and I'm hearing Veronica say she know of the young lady. Maybe we need to talk with her, sit down, and try to guide her in a new direction. I mean, that's something we probably need to take a chance and say, hey, if this young lady been put out, somebody said 5 times from a public house, something wrong.
But now, what we were talking about last week, Daryl, she might be one of them.
We gotta always be able to create positive relationships.
Yeah, I think we need to reach out to her and say, hey, what can we do to assist you in maintaining your residence? She might have a gambling problem, she might have some mental health problems, she may have a drug problem, or she just might not understand life in general. Don't forget, y'all, we have a lot of young men and young women that were let's go and say special children, and they were put in special classes, but they are in society now, and do they really know how to handle business of this sort in a regular way?
That's true. You know what? I had to learn how to communicate in the most positive way. And I learned that communicating is a skill that needs to be taught to us. That's for everybody to be taught how to communicate. Because a lot of people don't know how to communicate and articulate their emotions, properly.
Right.
And so that's why I say, even myself, at one point, thank God for a man by the name of D.D. Keith. Had it not been for him, he really mentored me when I was younger, and he taught me how to communicate, because I was a very one of those young men that was kind of, confrontational. And I didn't want to communicate because I felt like it just took too long and I didn't know how to articulate myself in a manner that would be, positive. So I just wanted to just fight it out. That's what I felt like I had to earn my respect by fighting it out. Because that's what I was taught growing up in the Bronx, being raised there. But I had to be taught, and he taught me. And you know what I found out? It's best that way. Yes.
We're gonna wrap this up. We'll take it up on Thursday. I just wanted Faye Price to say, I know the cursing was hardcore, but I still believe he was letting the black young ladies, he letting them know he do care. Hey, that's it for tonight, y'all. We're gonna bring it back on Thursday, and we'll go from there. Y'all have a safe night. Might get a little rain in here, but y'all take care, and we'll see y'all on Thursday.
Y'all please.
Appreciate it.
See y'all Thursday.